COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey, coronavirus, I want my life back.
Oh, you know what? I just realized my microphone has been off all this time. My apologies to everyone. Okay. I'm going to have to go through. And I said so many brilliant things. I don't think I can repeat it again, but we'll start all over again. You know, that's what happens when you get bad help, right? That's what happens when your crew is just not up to snuff. All right. I had mentioned that I'm going to dedicate this show to someone. I've never dedicated this show to anyone before, but I think this is worth it. It all revolves around a tweet that you saw but did not hear me read that I put out earlier. I said, challenge to news organizations, create a daily half-hour newscast with nothing at all about COVID or isolation. People need to stay informed, but also need to mute COVID coverage for the good of their mental health. Well, I got a reply. I was trying to be strong, but last night, news just killed me. I cried, and my children cried too much. And that, boy, I'll tell you, that really touched me. That's tough. That's tough because I know that comment represents so many people out there who up till now have been strong, have tried to be strong. You know what? It's okay to break down once in a while. That's what we're going to do. This is not a normal situation. It's okay. It's all right. That's what we're here for every night. We are here to bring you the positive side of isolation, try and give you some good advice. How about this news story today? Hamilton police began following an aggressive driver on Friday. The driver allegedly made several stops to conduct drug deals before officers arrested him for trafficking around 8 p.m. Police seized cocaine and cash and charged him with drug trafficking. They also issued the man a ticket under Ontario's Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act, which was, of course, invoked in an effort to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. They gave him a ticket for operating a non-essential business. Officers point out that drug dealing is not an essential service. Some might argue that in court, I guess. The man now faces, on top of drug trafficking charges, a fine of $750 for operating a non-essential business during COVID isolation. Wow, that is amazing. Okay, I'm very happy to be joined by my guest. As I mentioned, Edmonton. That's because that is where my guest is. I would like to say hello and I guess good afternoon to you. Good evening from Toronto. This is Harvey Deutschendorf. I hope I said that right.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Perfect.
Harvey, you're what's called an emotional intelligence expert. What is that?
Well, emotional intelligence, Kevin, is our ability to recognize, to differentiate, and our emotions and the emotions of others in our and manage emotions of others in our environment.
And a lot of what you do is it applies mainly to businesses, but over the last little bit, you've really come on board with bringing up how emotional intelligence can really help people at this time of isolation.
Yes, Kevin, because there's so much. One of the everybody seems to be focused so much on our physical health, but the other thing we have to worry about is our emotional health, emotional stress. is at an all-time high, and that's things danger too. I mean, it's creating it's high at dangerous levels this time. So we have to be aware of our emotions and see if we can manage them better. And we have to also try to manage the emotions of people during this time of isolation that also we're isolated with. We have to.
Yeah, and we keep saying that. And, emotion is what's going to drive our stress and our anxiety. And if we can get a handle on that, perhaps we could do a lot better emotionally and with this whole COVID isolation. What's been the reaction to your thoughts? And we're going to get to your thoughts, believe me, in just a moment.
Well, the reaction have been wonderful. I mean, there's been a lot that's been written out there in this regard, and how to manage ourselves, how to manage our emotional, our mental health, our stress levels are sort of at an all-time high. So, which isn't helping the situation at all. We need to. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're panic, pushing the panic button, things like this. But so if we can calm ourselves down, if we're able to calm ourselves down, also calm the other people around us down, we're in a much better situation to make it through this situation. And we're in a situation now where we're isolating, that we're spending time with people that we normally don't have to spend time with. We can get away, but this time, both parents are at home having to work a lot of times. The children are at home. Other people maybe we're even looking after are at home in this household. So this is creating a huge amount of stress, and we need some strategy, some ways that we can deal with these things before they get out of control.
This is from Joyce. For some reason, today was a horrible day. The news was terrible. Same at home. I went outside with my very ill husband, and a few neighbors were out next door. My day got a lot better just because, in parentheses, at a safe distance, they were there to chat. I love my neighbors. I guess to be reminded of that normalcy every once in a while is important, and to know that we're not alone. And like you say, to be stuck inside. She says her husband is ill, so obviously she has a lot more work and responsibility on her.
Yes, to know that others are there, that we can reach out to, we can talk to, and if we can't personally, reach out to, we have to social distance, to reach out by phone or to email or text. But it's better to Skype them or FaceTime, whatever, so we can hear their voice. I've reached out to just about everybody that I know, wherever they live at this time, and just let them know that I'm thinking of them. And that helps. That helps us get through the day, knowing that people are out there and they're thinking of us as well. So that type of connection, we're people that we're hardwired for connection as human beings, and if we're unable to connect, that adds a whole extra burden of stress on us at this time.
You were brought to my attention by an article that you wrote for the Star, 5 ways to help with your emotional intelligence during isolation. You bring up some really interesting ways that emotional intelligence can help us. And I'm going to go through some of the facts that you brought up. You said find time to share feelings openly. Right? It seems to make sense. Expand on that.
Yeah, it is, because we're all, we're all feeling fear. I don't know anybody at this time that hasn't felt some fear. We need to share that, because when we bring something out, we express it openly, like we're feeling some fear. It takes some of the power away that those emotions have over us. And not only that, but it normalizes it, because we also realize that other people are feeling the same thing. So being able to share that, being able to express it, how we're feeling, is one of the ways that we can make it through this. The worst thing we can do is keep things bottled inside and pretend everyth's fine, there's nothing wrong, because that only makes it worse. That makes those feelings just boil up inside of us, and it'll even make it worse. So if we can get it out there, talk about it, we're in a much better place.
Just before we get to the second one, just a shout out to Meredith. I'm so glad I found your videos. Something to look forward to after a long day at work in a hospital. So thank you, Meredith, and everybody else who is out there. You are the heroes. You are the
Yes,
heroes,
you
and I
are.
know that emotionally it can take a toll. And a lot of these tips, I hope, will help you. So let's move on to the next point that you brought up in the article. And this I found really, really interesting. Never thought about this. You need alone time and place for everyone. I've thought to myself, hey, I go into my bedroom, I have to close my door, I need my alone time. But you don't think to arrange that or to let everybody else know it's okay for them.
Yeah, especially in a time that you're isolated and you're with your family all day, your kids all day, where normally this doesn't happen. And you're used to having more alone time, and it's sort of crowding in on you that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
How about having some time set out alone time, having a schedule out. Oh, need some alone time, or just saying I need some time, having a space you can go where everybody will respect, and you can just take some time out, because otherwise things can really get to us if we're in a place where we can't get any time away.
And I think it's important to encourage people for that alone time. So if you, especially with kids, just to sort of emphasize to them, listen, you don't have to be with mommy or daddy all the time, and why it's important. So, why don't you go and take some books and do this and be on your own? Because I think it would do well for the sanity of both the child and the parent.
Exactly. Yeah. Just ask for it whenever you need to spend some
Yeah.
time alone. I know it's difficult for some people. They don't have a lot of space where people can be alone, but create something, whatever it is, a little corner in the room, whatever, somebody can go and spend that time. It's important that everybody knows that they can get away if they have to.
Here's, and the thing too is that a lot of people are recognizing this for the blessings that are there. Ross says, this is a blessing in the skies for me. I am a single father. My son stays at home. I am gone 13 hours a day. I'm getting to make up lost time with him and getting to know him a lot better now. That's amazing.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ross, for thinking of it that way. Okay, so which one were we on? Number 3, number 2, I should say. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
alone time,
Number 2.
group agreement, how to treat each other. That one I'm not fully understanding.
Well, I mean, we're going to be in some situations. We're going to be in close proximity to each other for periods of time that we're not used to. The kids are going to be at school, so basically say, okay, here's how we're going to treat each other. If we're feeling upset, we're feeling very frustrated and stuff because we're in this situation. How about we come up with this agreement? This is how we're going to treat each other. Okay. First of all, we can share that with the other. Say, I need some time. I'm feeling very, very frustrated. I won't just shout at you. I won't just get upset and start calling you, ranting and raving. This is how I'm going to say. I'm going to say, this is how I'm feeling. Come up with this agreement, how we're going to respect each other's space and time. Draw it up and actually have everybody listen to everybody that has input into this. So this works for everybody, and have everybody sign it. So it's like a contract. This is what we're going to do to get through this time together. So we need to get along. We're going to get on each other's nerves, but hey, when this happens, this is how we're going to react to one another. This is a deal. So if you're not reacting this way, well, we have we have something to talk about. So at least make it aware that this is the way we still need to treat each other with respect during this time.
You know what? I'm getting a real sense this evening. This is getting to a lot of people. I'm looking over the comments here. I really get a feeling and a thought that people have been putting up a brave front for a long time. But after a while, it does wear on you, and that's normal. That's understandable. So I'm hoping that some of these tips you can use. If you can't use all of them, use 1 or 2 of them, and give yourself a bit of peace during the day. And that's what it's about: is finding yourself some peace, right, Harvey?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, finding some peace and being able to make it through another day of this. Yeah.
All right. Talking with Harvey Deutschendorf from his home in Edmonton. We're talking about emotional intelligence and how your emotions can actually not work against you, but work with you in this time of isolation. Hey, Patricia, I don't have time for this. All right, just a second. Harvey, my husband works, and I think I'm not sure if is there an Edson, Alberta? Or
Yes, there
okay.
is. It's
My
just
husband
west
works
of
in
us,
Edson.
yes.
How much snow
Yes.
did you get? Ugh. I'm doing this for you,
Oh,
Patricia, because I know you're a regular.
I think between 10 and
No.
20 centimeters.
No, no.
Yes, a dump, a big dump.
My gosh.
And we used to go for walks, so it's becoming a problem because it's cold and you know, I used to go for walks every day, and now it's cold and people can't do that. So that's creating extra stress for at least this week till it warms up.
Most definitely. Well, you know what they say in Edmonton and Calgary: if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get on to another point here. All right. So we had the group agreement on how to treat each other. Come up with a gratitude list. That's just a great idea.
Yeah, I've done this for years actually every morning, but when I get up, the first thing I do is I have a gratitude book and I write 10 things down that I'm grateful for. I'm thinking this would be a great time, you know, to take our mind off the gloom and doom and all the bad news that we're hearing is, you know, let's make up a list of things that are positive. We can do this as a family. We can come up with a list together, post it, and somebody thinks of something. But there's so many things when we think about it we can be grateful for. Because just thinking right now, I'm just thinking of all the poor people, you know, in developing countries, you know, and their healthcare system, and you know, they can't sort of isolate and things like that, and you know, so there's so many things that we have that we just basically take for granted because we have them. This is a time to think of those things, and you know, we're much better off than the people in many parts of the world during this time, you know. And the other thing we can be grateful for, you know, if everybody is healthy in our family, yeah, just think of all the things that we're grateful for that we normally just take for granted during this time, and there's lots we can.
Almost
Yeah,
definitely. And I don't want people to think, oh, that's silly. Try it, okay?
Try it.
Just try it. If you, every morning I give myself, you know, I think, I don't write them down. I talk about my gratitudes, what I'm happy for, what I appreciate, and it does work. It does, and you don't have to tell anybody you're doing it if you're going to be embarrassed by it. Don't worry about that. But you know what? Give these things a try. Okay, let's get on to the fifth one from this article. Plan time for activity and fun. Now, it almost seems like that's obvious, but maybe it isn't so obvious.
Well, it's not obvious because if we're spending all our time, you know, with watching the news and constantly being bombarded, we have to know what's going on. We have to be informed, but we don't have to be inundated. We don't have to watch all day long. You know, we can plan a time, some activity, get input from everybody that works, and have something to look forward to. You know, by Friday we're gonna play some board games or whatever. We're gonna watch this and such movie or whatever. Anything that you're able to do that takes our mind off of what's going on. Just make something plan something down the road that we can look forward to. That's fun. That everybody can get involved in. That's important.
Yeah, looking forward to things is a good way to get through things when you
absolutely.
Let me see. Just want to get through to a couple of other comments as well. And again, I keep my heart goes out to everybody here today because there are so many people who are having a tough time. Someone talked about a gratitude jar, Lori. Thankful jars. Fill it with a note every day, then read it at the end. That's a great idea. Then you have a physical representation of look at all my blessings there. Look at everything that is so good in my life. I've been taught that once your eyes open every morning, be sure to be thankful for it. And thanks, Mike. Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, here's something to be grateful for. Carmen says, I have buds growing on my tree. Yeah, it's getting to be that time where some buds are starting to come out. So there we have the spring to be grateful for. Maybe coming a little later in Edmonton, but
yes,
we have the spring. We have the spring to be grateful
yes,
for.
Yes, it's coming.
Okay, yeah. the other article too that I found extremely interesting, and it's interesting here because you're very prolific in your writing, and if I were you, I would just take what I did for the Star, and just sort of copy it over because you did an article for Fast Company, which I believe is a business-oriented website, how to be more productive.
Yes, it is.
But no, you again came up with 5 tips, but you came up with 5 different tips because the article I'm talking about is 5 ways emotional intelligence can help us through the coronavirus crisis.
Right.
And let's get to the number 1 thing that you gave in this one. Name our emotions.
Yeah, it's again, it's somewhat similar to the other one, but putting words to our emotions, like I'm feeling very, very frustrated, and that's one thing we can do with everybody that we're sort of in contact with and isolated with when we're all together a period of time. So I'm really, really frustrated by you hogging the remote control stuff. I feel very, very frustrated. You won't let me have it. Just naming that helps us to, well, it keeps us from, acting out and lashing out and making the situation worse, but also releases some of the energy behind the emotions, because once we get something out, it no longer has a grip over us. It sort of loses some of the power over us. So that helps us release some of the energy. It's better than keeping it all bundled up inside.
And you're talking a lot about what they teach you in mindfulness courses. So if
Yes.
you can name it, then at least you know what you're stressed about. Because sometimes stress is compounded by the fact that I'm feeling anxious, I don't know why. And now I'm feeling anxious because I don't know why I'm feeling anxious about not knowing why. So at least naming it goes a little bit more. Okay. I want to read this from Paula because it looks like Paula put a lot of thought into this. It's one of the longer comments. Brave front is cracking. I used to count on my workplace to be my respite from the dementia world. My husband has early onset, rapidly progressing dementia. Our thoughts are with you, Paula. He is with me 24/7 now, as his daytime caregiver is in her own home in isolation. I work from home now and do have virtual team meetings, but it's for work. There are just the 2 of us. I put on a movie the past few nights so I could sit here tonight with you and your guest. Well, thank you, Paula, for doing that. He is almost nonverbal, so I don't have a partner to discuss what's going on in the world. Okay, everybody. This is everybody who's watching right now, get on the comments, start talking to Paula. I want you to start sending Paula some strength. Okay, that's the great thing. We've become a community here on this show. People, I watch off to the side. I see all the comments, and I watch, and everybody's supporting each other, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. I love that. I love that. Okay, let's move on to the next item from that article from Fast Company. So once we've named our emotions, how about support children navigating their emotions? So we're going to teach our kids to name their emotions, but at the same time, they may not understand them.
Yeah. So whenever they express emotions, we need to respect what their emotions are, because emotions are neither right or wrong. They just are, and we need to help them navigate there. So whatever they're feeling is okay, and we have to be able to share our emotions with them too, because if we're not, they get the feeling that it's not okay to share theirs. Now, we don't have to share our worst fears, sort of our worst anxieties, but they know that we're afraid. They know we're anxious, and if we keep it in or don't say anything to them, their imaginations will run wild, and so they already know. So sharing with them our emotions, I say, not the worst ones, sort of not our worst anxieties, but that we too are afraid, we're anxious, but we're gonna get through this together. That's the healthy way to deal with it.
Definitely. Most definitely. Okay. The next point from that article, focus on what we can control. Harvey, we have talked about this many times since we've started doing this show, that there is one of the worst things you can do is to stress out over things you cannot control. You cannot control, for the most part, you can control what you do, but you can't control the spread of COVID. You cannot control if toilet paper is available. So what can you control? You can control that you're going to stay busy, that you're going to eat well, you're going to exercise or that. So control what you can control and focus on that. That's a great suggestion.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, focus on that all the time instead of focusing on the things out there that we can't control. Good. Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. Now, hold on. Let me just get this one here. We'll focus on what we can't control. Just a second. Good help is so hard to find, Harvey. I'm switching here, and I'm not very good at it. Get news from reliable sources. Oh boy, have you hit on a nerve there, Harvey?
Yeah. It's important that, there's the rumor mills during this time, of course, are working overtime, and we may hear all kinds of very frightening and terrifying things that are going on. And it's really, really important to tune that out, because listen to the sources, watch your, listen to the medical experts, and only the people that are, medical experts, what they're telling us, and tune out the rest of it, because there's going to be all kinds of things coming on social media that's all kinds of weird stuff, and so tune that out, because there's lots of misinformation and also dangerous information that's coming out there. So stick with what the experts are saying, and leave everything else, put everything else aside.
Yeah, and what I suggest to people is just watch it in the morning, okay? For
Yep.
whatever you need to get up to date, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
And then turn it off for the rest of the day and mute your social media feeds, and don't go to those news feeds. You don't need to hear about it 24/7, because I would suggest the vast majority of any articles or any news stories you see are all focusing on the bad. They're all focusing on the bad.
Yeah.
So definitely, just don't overload yourself with that. It's a great suggestion. Finally, make creative use of isolation time. So many people are, but I think other people are kind of like feeling bad because they're not, and that just adds to the stress.
Yeah, this is a time to do things that we've maybe thought of doing for a long time, but haven't. For example, I've got I played guitar years and years ago, and I totally forgot everything. I thought someday I'd like to take it up. Well, hey, wouldn't this be a great time to take that up? Read that book, put out that blog, do the kind of things that you've been thinking of doing for a long time, and meditate, going for walks, which we can't do for the next few days, but do these kind of things that wow, this is an opportunity. Look at it this way. It's an opportunity now that we're stuck inside. Let's use this time, and let's be creative with it, and do the things that we thought of doing but never sort of allowed ourselves or give ourselves permission or the time to do. This is the time.
You know what? Maybe you could, and this is no insult. Maybe you could file some of those papers on your on your file cabinet beside you. No, you know what, Harvey? I've had a few comments off to the side about I love his office. It looks like mine, and that is so true. I think that was my first thought when I saw that's a productive office. That is a productive office, my friend.
I've got ADD, so scattered.
Exactly.
My thoughts, my office, my papers, everything's kind of scattered.
I love that. Harvey, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk with you, and I encourage everyone. In fact, I will after I'm off, I'll go on my Twitter account and Facebook, and I will put some links to those articles. So people can look at them, put them up on the fridge. I hope people will take a lot of them into account. So let's just quickly go through them again. Just pipe up if you want to add anything to it. So find time to share feelings openly. I like this next one here. Alone time and place for everyone. There should be an alone time for you and a place for you, but your kids, your spouses, whoever you're isolated with. Also, a group agreement on how to treat each other. This is something we're not used to. Maybe we need to set those rules and come up with a gratitude list, most definitely, and everybody loved that idea, and plan time for activity and fun, not only now but in the future. So that it's like we have something to look forward to. That was from your Star article, Harvey. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, quickly for the Fast Company article, we'll start with this one here. Name your emotions. We've talked about that many times in mindfulness. Recognizing what the emotion is, how it's making you feel, goes a long way to help you file the stress. There is also support children navigating their emotions, which is so important. Focus on what we can control. Also, from this list, get news from reliable sources. And finally, from this particular article, make creative use of the isolation time. Any closing thoughts, Harvey?
Yes, I think we hit it, and I'm hoping that this this helps people sort of turn some of their time at least into the positive, and start the sort of dissipates maybe some of the gloom and doom and some of the fear during this time. So even if you can do one of those things, I'm hoping it will help you. So.
And the other kind of smart.com, that's your website.
That's right. Yes, that's the title of my book as well. So yeah,
that's right. Where is it? I have your book here. Where's the book? Hold on. I thought I did. I thought I had a copy of it. Superhouse. What is it? Well, yeah. Okay, you've got it there. Hold it up.
I got it there. Yes.
Okay. The other kind of smart. Tell me about that title.
Well, it's the other kind of smart is, of course, emotional intelligence. It was before emotional intelligence came around, we thought of our IQ as the part that makes us smart. But now we're realizing that it has a lot to do, maybe even more to do with our emotions than it has to do with our IQ, how we manage our emotions. So that's how we came up with that title.
So you can get in touch with Harvey, and he has a number of other very interesting facts there for you. Harvey, thank you very much for this.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
I hope so. And keep that snow out west for us. Harvey Deutschendorf talking to us from Edmonton. Take care of yourself. All right. Let's move back here to Toronto. I'll click that. There we go. Hello. And then this is, by the way, I mean, this is kind of what I'm doing. You want to bring that over here just a bit? I'll show you what's happening on the screen in front of me. Is you take a look at this. I don't know how close. Can you get close here to this one here? Right into the screen. So there we go. So I'm switching everything here, keeping track of the sources, the audio. These are all your comments over here. And then here's my off-air monitor through here. So it's something I'm not oops, there we go. It's something that gets a little it has a little getting used to as well. I want to be in the moment. I want to be talking with all of you. Like I say, I've been watching a lot of your comments today, and I really do detect a bit of a turn today. A turn in which a lot of people are just breaking down. They've had enough. We need to guard ourselves. We need to protect ourselves. We have to realize this is going to go on much longer. It is. It's not a matter of another couple of days, another week, and we'll be out of the woods. We're in a very important week. We're trying to see if all of these isolation practices have been helping at all. But we still have a long way to go, so we need to prepare ourselves for that. I'm not trying to bring you down that way. I'm just trying to say we need to prepare ourselves for that. And there's all sorts of... Go to my YouTube channel and look at some of the past episodes of this show. You can find them on Facebook as well. But there are so many great ideas. Tomorrow, by the way, Winston C. is going to be joining me. He has a lot of talk about tech ideas to help you. We're going to discuss Zoom, which of course is the latest and greatest in social media and video calling. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be doing some cooking with Joy McCarthy. Coming up on when are we doing that? I think Friday. I'm not sure. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking to an expert from Google in Los Angeles who is a productivity expert. How has your home office been working for you? How have you been working at home? We're going to be talking about the best setup. So send in your questions and your thoughts. Now, I want to spend the last minute or so, or a couple of minutes, however long you guys want to go. I want to hear what you're thankful for. Every single person watching. Okay, you know what? Okay, I have to go through This one as well, Teresa, is she, again, lots of effort, lots of thought put into it. We're 5 adults in the house. My son is a chef and the restaurant closed, so he's home. My son-in-law is still working, so he goes in the subway every day. That is making us very crazy when he comes home. My daughter has OCD contamination, so now we know what she has been going through for years now. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. My husband is over 65, lots of health problems, including diabetes, cancer many years ago, so he's at risk of getting sick. I'm okay. This is Teresa. I've been cut out for 2 weeks, so on Thursday I'm going to Costco, and I am already freaking out about it. Just take your proper precautions. Just stay 6 feet away from people. If you can, bring some gloves with you to handle products in the store. Do not touch your face, and when you get home, wash your hands vigorously for a while with soap and water. My rant is, I knew this was coming. My rant is my son-in-law went shopping and brought some chips and muffins and told me that it's not an essential grocery item. My son misses his work and his friends and has been inside playing video games. They have played games together and gone for walks, but that is not enough for my husband, so he is not talking to him. I don't want to start any fights, so I just listen by myself. I cry. Wow, please give me some advice. I don't know, Teresa. I think when we go back to what Harvey had been talking about, where we talk with each other, almost like it's a board meeting. It's not silly to sit down and say, we need to discuss each other and how we're treating each other. And we have to come up with an agreement on how we're going to treat each other. These are not normal times, so we can't do normal things. If you can, gather them around a table as a meeting, and everybody has a turn to speak, and they speak their mind, and they label their thoughts. You're in this together, and it shouldn't be one person more dominant than someone else. Everyone needs to realize that if there's one weak link in that chain will break. So you have to be there for each other, and you have to be there for yourself. You have to be heard, and you have to hear other people. If you're going to be living in the same household, nobody knows how much longer we're going to be stuck together. If you can't get along, it's going to exponentially increase your stress and anxiety levels. I don't want Teresa crying anymore, you guys. You need to talk to each other. There's too many tears already for this. There are things people need to be sad about. There are truly sick people out there who this has just been horrific for. So, as I had said, what I want you to do for this last minute or two, I want to see your gratitudes right now. Every single person. I don't care whether you've commented before. What are you thankful for, Ralph? We are thankful for you in the show. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's very nice. I'm thankful that it's not snowing here as it was, as you saw in Edmonton. I'm thankful my carpal tunnel surgery in February 2020, so that this time I can continue to sew. Oh, Geraldine, that's a great gratitude, because it's like if your surgery had been postponed, you couldn't sew now. You would still be, I'm sure, in a lot of agony. I'm glad that you can sew. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear. I'm grateful. I love to hear the birds sing every morning. And if you notice, there's more birds and more birds singing because there's just not as many people out. So they're not scared. They're not getting chased away. I'm grateful for the calls I get from my 25 and 15-year-old grandkids. Kids, call your grandparents. Call your parents. Call people. They're alone. Give them a call. Life, says Laura. Hey. That's a great gratitude. I'm thankful for my son, cats, and extended family, says Karen. Roof over my head, the food in my belly, the clothes on my back, my country, my yard, garden, all the critters in it. So many things. I'm thankful for you, Kevin, and what you're doing. Thank you. You know what? This is what I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful you take the time to listen to me blathering on and stick with me so long. I'm so thankful for you, because this is giving me sanity. This is giving me a reason to get up every morning. I look forward to trying to find something to talk about in the evening with you, sitting there. We have our coffee together, maybe a glass of wine together. I think it's absolutely fantastic. A couple more. Let me see. Thankful for your show and my family and friends, my grandkids. Oh, yes. Dominica, I saw your note earlier because you said it's driving you crazy missing your grandchildren. And what Dominica does is she drives by, as a lot of people do every day. Betty says, thankful that my husband can still get his cancer radiation treatment at Princess Margaret. That's good to hear. That is good to hear. And thankful for all those health workers, right? Geraldine, my son is healthy and able to work in the front line, advanced care paramedic. And thank you very much for our paramedics. They don't get enough praise. They really don't. They're the unsung service all the time. I'm going to say this because my son-in-law is a paramedic, but I've said that for years. Our paramedics don't get enough love. It always seems firefighters and police, and deservedly so, get the praise and respect. We hear so little about our paramedics. So to all of our paramedics, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to the other people in healthcare. The cleaning staff, the kitchen staff, the clerical staff, the people who keep healthcare working. Yes, the doctors and nurses front line, and it goes without saying that we are so grateful. But there are the civilians working in police divisions and stations. There are call takers at 911. So it's, we're thankful for all the support staff. We're thankful for all those people who are delivering food. We are thankful for those who go to the grocery store. We're thankful for the one person we were talking about a little bit earlier, who goes out and there's everybody. Is freaked when they come home. So there are all these people we're thanking. Their families are very worried about them, and they're worried that they may be bringing COVID back into the house with them. Thank you to the cleaners at the hospital. I'm thankful for my family and friends. So much to be thankful for. So here's my challenge to you in your social media. In fact, in any communication you have with someone outside of your house, try and be positive. I challenge you not to complain. Try it for 24 hours. I challenge you not to complain. Put out positive posts. We know there are complaints. There's complaints, okay. But what about the good things? What about the good things? Because when you complain about things, you forget about the good things. But when you keep reminding yourself of the good things, they become front and center. It actually does adjust your emotions and your stress levels. Thank you to Baxter Corps employees in Alliston making intravenous bags and supplies. Thank you. So that's Baxter Corp employees. A lot of factories have been retooled and repurposed, so that's fantastic. Karen says challenge accepted. Okay, Karen, I'm going to hold you to that. All right. Thank you so much for all of you and for everything. Let me remind you of a few things. If you want to email me, firstaidforyourmentalhealth@gmail.com. firstaidforyourmentalhealth@gmail.com. You can watch old episodes. The old episodes, they are on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kevin Frankish channel. So thank you. 911 operators, like our son is one. Ralph says that. Thank you very much for that. So, folks, that's it for this evening. We're back tomorrow with Winston C. Have a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that one. I look forward to all of these. So, take care of yourself and take care of each other.
COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack.